Hello, thank you for watching. Thank you Ed's Gaming and all my channel members for your support. Thank you everyone who's subscribed, anyone who's even watching. If you're not subscribed, please do it now, be much appreciated. It's Q&A day. A few days ago I posted on the community page that I'd be willing to answer questions on just about anything. And many of you responded, so thank you if you took part in that, and I'll try and answer your questions now. So let's begin. So would you consider playing other games, perhaps the older Elder Scrolls titles? Older Elder Scrolls titles, I was introduced to Elder Scrolls by my youngest daughter, and she got me to play Oblivion, I think it was, and I just couldn't get into it at all. It seemed to me that there was a lot of travelling just on foot and nothing really happening, so I never got into that. I didn't do much of that at all. And other games, well, I do play other games. I don't post videos about them all, but yeah, I do play other games. I am currently playing Red Dead Redemption. I did post a few videos about that, but because it's a voiced main character, the protagonist is a voiced character, there doesn't really seem much for me to do. I couldn't really find how I would continue posting videos about that. Much prefer a non-voiced character like in Skyrim. What else am I playing? The Witcher is another one. I haven't looked at that for quite a while though, but I'm enjoying The Witcher as well. The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. And yeah, I play other games. Okay, next question is, how did you get into playing games and into Skyrim specifically, and how did you find out about our great friend Inigo and start travelling with him? Well, there's a lot of questions in there. How did I get into playing games? Initially playing games, well, when I was a teenager, the very first video games that you could play were in arcades, and particularly near me there was a fish and chip shop that got a couple of games machines in, and they were Pong, the tennis, and of course Space Invaders. So yeah, that was the kind of thing I was playing as a teenager, and spending lots of 10p pieces to play until my lives run out. A little bit further on from that, there was Asteroids, and that is my absolute favourite arcade game. Around that sort of Pong era. When I first started work, so I was about 16, and I bought a console that I could plug into my TV and play, and I played with my dad. And you would plug a cartridge in the top. It wasn't a Nintendo. It's not a brand that I can remember. But there was Pong on there. There were different versions of that, with kind of based on basketball and things. There was also a guy on a motorbike like Evel Knievel, and he would jump over double-decker buses, and each time he made a successful jump they would add another bus that you would try and jump over, and he would ride across the top of the screen and come lower down and ride across, and sort of gradually it would be always from one side, gradually building up speed until the bottom line he would actually have to take off and jump over the buses. So that was kind of fun. But the best game of that was a tank battle, and I used to play with my dad. So you had all the buildings around, and you had a tank each. But the thing with that my dad could never get the hang of. I mean, it was a rubbish game, but by using the controller, when you fired, it was a joystick, and you'd fire a shell from the tank, and then if you lean the controller, the joystick, you could actually make the the shell bend around corners. So I could do it and my dad couldn't, and I got lots of victories from that. So yeah, that was my first insight into gaming. How did I get into Skyrim specifically? I saw an advert on the telly. I saw the cinematic trailer on the TV, and I looked at that and I thought, wow, I'm going to buy Skyrim. So I bought Skyrim. And finding out about Inigo, I was really late to the party, and to my shame, I was looking for various mods to use, and I thought that I was kind of didn't really like the. When I played the vanilla game, I never played with followers, and I thought that because there were modded followers available, I would try them out. And I looked on the list, and top of the list was Inigo, but because he was a blue Khajiit, he was the last one I tried. So I tried many others and didn't. For one reason and another, I got tired of them very quickly and deleted them off. And I kept going back to Inigo, looking at him. He kept being in my kind of field of vision because he was always up there as the top-rated mod. And yeah, I kept, because he was a Khajiit, named it one, and because he was blue, I thought it just gets sillier and sillier. It can't be any good. And only because of his ratings, I eventually tried him, and I went to meet him in his cell. Within about 3 words of dialogue from Inigo, I thought, wow, this is different. And very quickly, I got to be really interested in Inigo. I wanted to find out more about him. I wanted to have him with me. And I've never ever got tired of him. Never. And on the complete contrary to getting tired with him, it just gets better and better and better. As far as I'm concerned, the more you get to know him, the better he is. So yeah, I just regret not trying him sooner. Okay, if someone were to make an Inigo mod for Oblivion, would you play Oblivion with said mod? Short answer is, if someone were to make an Inigo mod for Oblivion, no. If Smartbluecat were to make an Inigo mod for Oblivion, then I would be compelled to play. Okay, who's the 4% that said it's a bad idea? Inigo and I will find you. Wow, it's down to 2% that said please don't make this video, so not so bad. If you ever find mods with compatibility with the Inigo follower mod, will you add them? Yeah, so if another follower has got dialogue with Inigo. At the moment, the best I think you can hope for is that Smartbluecat would grant the use of Inigo's kind of voice pack that's already existing. He certainly wouldn't have time to make any new dialogue. But I do understand that not all the dialogue recording that Smartbluecat has recorded has actually gone into the Inigo mod. There are some that he has not been able to use. So yeah, there could be unique dialogue from Inigo. But I think for the most part, because there's such a rich vein of interaction between vanilla followers and Inigo, that I don't see the need to add another modded follower, even if they've got dialogue with Inigo. And the thing is, I'd hate for Inigo to start to seem repetitive, because he's having some dialogue with, say, Lydia or Eric, and then you go and meet Lucien and you start to have a conversation with Lucien, and it's Inigo saying the same things that he just said with Eric or Lydia. And the thing, one of the main things for me with Inigo is that his dialogue is quite rare. The fact that he doesn't repeat himself is one of the reasons I love him. So if by adding another mod I'm going to possibly start to cause him to be more repetitive and thereby more irritating, then no, I don't want it. Never say never. Once I've exhausted all the dialogue options between Inigo and Lydia, Eric, Carjo, Chisago, Mjol, the two dogs, Miko and Vigilance. Once that's exhausted, and I don't think I will ever get to that point, then I'll look at Lucien. I did actually play with Lucien for a while. It's one of the mods that I tried, and I didn't have that same empathy for him that I felt with Inigo. Let's just leave it there. So yeah, Horses for Courses, not for me. Have I ever thought of playing the Dragon Age game series, Origins 2 and Inquisition? I'm aware of it, but no, I've never been tempted. I don't really know much about it, so no, I haven't thought of it. Might I do it in the future? Yeah, maybe. When did I originally find interest in the Elder Scrolls, and how would I compare my experience from then and now? I said previously that the TV advert captured my attention and sort of piqued my interest, and how would I compare my experience from then and now? I remember playing Skyrim for the very first time, and I remember going into Bleak Falls Barrow, and I remember feeling really tense and on edge, and sort of creeping through, and one of the things that I kept picking up was the linen wraps. I thought, there's so many of these, they'll probably come in handy. Never found a use for them. But yeah, I was on edge all the way through that. That giant spider that comes down in there, and the walking corpses and all that. I was tense all the way through it. I found it quite a challenge because I'd never done it before. Now I'm so familiar with the game. I've maxed out all the achievements at least twice on the Xbox 360, and again on the when Special Edition come out. I've maxed everything out, every single achievement at least twice. I've also played it on PC. So now it's kind of really familiar, and honestly at one stage I was so bored with it I sold my copy. I thought I'm never gonna. I want to stop playing Skyrim. I kept going back to it, and it wasn't really interesting me. But then the chance when Special Edition come out, the chance to start modding it happened, and I thought that it might be nice to see if it's any fresher. And yeah, I was enjoying it, just playing about with mods. And then when I found Inigo, it is a completely new game as far as I'm concerned. It's like doing everything again for the very first time with Inigo. And yeah, so I'm not so scared of things now. I'm kind of free and easy. I kind of know what's going to happen. I've got a vague idea. I don't remember. I haven't got a super photographic memory like some people seem to have with Skyrim, but I get to somewhere and it's familiar, and I think, oh, okay, I'll go over there, and so I kind of have that. So yeah, but it's so with Inigo now, it's a completely fresh game, and it's because of Inigo that I keep playing it now. Oh, I love this person's name, Horns Holding Hellishly Hot Houdinis. What a great name. Hope you're having a great day. What got you into video games in the first place, and what are some games that you want to play in the future? I've covered the first part of that question already, and games that I want to play in the future, I'm eagerly awaiting Microsoft Flight Simulator. Again, that's not something that I plan to make videos on, but it's something that does interest me quite a lot. I'd love to take a little plane and fly around over my house and check out my local area in an aeroplane, and fly off to Scotland and places like that. And so that appeals. And also another game that I want to play in the future, there's a new Fable game coming out. I loved Fable. Again, I maxed out all the achievements on every single game except Fable the Journey on Kinect. I thought that was absolutely rubbish. But the first Fable, absolutely loved it. Fable 2, Fable 3, loved it. And so when the new Fable comes out, yeah, I want to be playing that. Okay. I'd love to know how long it took you to grow your beard. Okay, I've got a video here. This video was taken just before I met Smartbluecat for the first time. So this was February 2019, and you can get a look at my beard here. Hello everyone. This is a video I never expected to make. On the 24th of this month, barring unforeseen circumstances, touch wood, and I'm going to be meeting Smartbluecat. And this video is from when I met Smartbluecat the second time, which is September 2019. So there's 7 months between the two videos, and you can see how long the beard grew between that. Wow, that's a long drive. Gonna freshen up. I'm gonna meet Gary for a beer tonight, and then we're gonna do the interview proper tomorrow. Can't wait to see him, really looking forward to it. See you soon. And now, wow. It's a fair bit longer now. It reaches down to my nipple. So the downside of having a beard this length is clearly eating. I've got to be really selective with what I eat. An ice cream cornet, for example. Whoa, don't touch it. And anything, bits of rice, it all gets knocked off by my moustache, it all falls in. So I've got to be ultra careful with anything I eat, and I still have to find myself combing rice and peas out of my beard after every meal. So yeah, other downsides, sleeping. I often find that the beard will actually go under my armpit when I'm sleeping. There we go. So I end up sleeping like that and then trying to turn in my sleep and end up waking myself up like that. And so yeah, downsides. But I probably would have shaved this off by now. But since my son-in-law created my wonderful channel logo, I can't. I can't shave it off. Yeah, hope that answers your question. Are there other interests that you have that you haven't shared with us? If so, what are they? Yeah, I've got other interests. I like taking my dog for a walk. He's kind of nice. I love it, and I don't meet up with my daughter's dog when we go with them. That doesn't happen as often as I like, but I really enjoyed that when we did that. I also quite regularly take video of my other daughter, my daughter with her horse, and because she likes to see. Obviously, if she can't take a video when she's riding, and if she does, she'll only get the horse's ears in the shot. So it's useful for her to see how her horse is moving on video as someone else takes it. So that's something that I do quite regularly, is to go and film her riding, and that's kind of fun. The downside of that is she tends to do it really early in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. Other thing I do, I play online chess. I play quite a few games every day, online chess. I'm not very good, but I do enjoy it. The game that's you should be seeing now playing, this one ends up in a draw. So yeah, I tend to win as many, or I tend to lose as many games as I win. So, but it's fun. I like it. And the other thing I've recently started to do is to learn Finnish. My wife is Finnish, and I've only ever picked up. I've been married 36 years. My God. Yeah, 36 years. Wow. But yeah, I've never picked up more than a couple of words of Finnish, and because my daughter started to learn it again, I started, and there is an app you can get on your phone which is called Duolingo, and there it is. So let's have a go. You get the idea. That house is green. That is tuo talo on vihreä. There we go. I'm amazing. Learning Finnish. Who'd have thought? Stop that recording and I'll do that again later. Okay, what originally got you into the Elder Scrolls series and role-playing in general? Again, I've covered the first part of that. Role-playing came about purely because I started posting to YouTube, and it kind of developed to try and make my videos more interesting. and because previously I would just literally do the quests and not role play at all. I just did what I was asked to do within the game, and didn't really role play it at all. Didn't matter what character I had or things. Now I kind of limit myself in such a way that I tend to start quite physical with my characters, and I tend to put the magic side off to quite late in the game, and it basically it's like when the physical combat starts to become too easy for me, which does take a long time, then I go and learn magic, and then I get the challenge to start using the magic, and sort of keeps the game alive for me in that way. So yeah, in this current playthrough that I'm doing, I want to have a character that's done everything with Inigo. I want to complete every quest line with Inigo with one character. Now, role playing that, I want my character to be a nice guy. But I've still, because I want to do everything, I've still got to do the Dark Brotherhood quest line and the Thieves Guild, which nice people tend not to do. So at the moment I'm role playing it that because I was falsely arrested and sentenced to death by the Imperials, I'm trying to keep a low profile away from them. I've got a lot closer than I intended to. Obviously with the Thieves Guild I've had to get into Solitude and even into Castle Dower. But yeah, it was a case of necessity. So starting off doing kind of bad things, going from assassinations within the Dark Brotherhood, I'm going to start to tone it down and lay low within the Thieves Guild, and then eventually I'll join the Companions and do that quest line, and then eventually kind of make myself known and do the Civil War and the rest of it, and the main quest will kind of happen somewhere along the way as well. So I'm not really doing anything in any particular order. I like to kind of mix it up a little bit. But yeah, the role play developed purely by trying to make my videos more interesting. What's the most hilarious or favourite memory of your childhood? I thought about that one for quite a long time, and I come up with two. One from when I was very, very young, and one from when I was kind of mid-teens. So when I was young, I don't know how young I was, but I was just about aware of Santa Claus and that he delivers presents to children, and I was on Christmas Eve night I was going to have a pillowcase at the end of my bed for Santa to put my presents in, and I was kind of eagerly looking forward to Christmas and thinking what I might get. Anyway, I found a teddy bear in our living room. It was tucked away somewhere in a corner, and I found it. I think my mother was in the kitchen or somewhere, and she came in and she found me playing with this teddy bear. It hadn't been wrapped or anything like that. I hadn't unwrapped a present. It was just a teddy bear that was put somewhere, and I found it and I was playing with it and I loved it. And then my mother came in and found it, and she shouted at me. She said, "What are you doing with that teddy bear? That's not for you, that's for the baby." And and it was taken away from me. And anyway, that was a few weeks before Christmas, and I didn't know who the baby was. Just yeah, so but it clearly wasn't mine. And on Christmas morning, she still didn't bother wrapping it, but at the end of my bed was this teddy bear with his little head peeping up out of the top of my pillowcase at the end of my bed. And I could see the little teddy there, and I was terrified. I didn't go anywhere near it. I kind of, oh, it's for the baby, and I wouldn't touch it. And it took my mother quite a long time to tell me that I am the baby. I was the baby. And yeah, I had that teddy for quite a while. I do remember that. Liked it. When I was a teenager, the other one, it was a Friday night, and my mother was working at that time, and she'd come home. She'd had quite a busy week at work, and she was tired on Friday night. She hadn't been out and done any shopping. My father was a man who had quite a physical job as well, and he wanted his dinner, and my mother said, "Oh, I don't want to cook tonight. Can you go out and get fish and chips?" to my dad. And my dad said, "Oh, bloody fish and chips! Don't want fish and chips. Go and cook something." And he kind of insisted, and he insisted he didn't want fish and chips and wanted my mother to cook. She didn't want to cook, and eventually she got into an absolute steaming temper rage, and she went out into the kitchen. I mean, she had nothing in. She'd bought nothing. And she just found some bits that were lying around. There was an old onion that had started to sprout. She chopped that up and chucked it into a frying pan. She said, "I'm not peeling potatoes. You can have rice." And she started some rice on to boil. There was a tin of tomatoes, and she chucked that into the mincemeat and onions. There was a couple of mushrooms that she chopped up and chucked them in. Just anything she could find, she chucked into this mince. There was bits. I think my brother used to like to make curries and things. So there was, for some, because it wouldn't have been my mother's, there was like garlic and curry powder and things like that. And she just found it on the shelf. She took it and chucked some in and whatever. And when she served it up to my dad and the rest of us, she sort of chucked the plate in front of him. She said, "There, I hope it chokes you." And we sat down and started eating that, and it was absolutely divine. It was really, really delicious. And my mother was not a good cook. She was a really, really plain cook. Nothing adventurous ever. It was meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. Maybe some gravy if you were lucky. Yorkshire pudding on Sunday for Sunday lunch, but really bland cooking. And then she made this, and it was absolutely wonderful. And anyway, it's really diffused the mood. My mother was kind of really, "What, you really like it?" And oh, it's delicious. Can we have it again? And we ended up having it every Friday thereafter, until my mother could no longer cook. And it became known as Friday Night Special, and it developed, and there'd be crispy noodles on it and things. It was, yeah, delicious. Have I ever played Minecraft? Yes, I have, but I really didn't understand it, and I couldn't see the appeal. Sorry. Will there be another interview with Smartbluecat? Yes. Once the world gets back to normal and we can travel again in safety without fear of coronavirus, then yeah, there will be. I would have wanted to have met him again already by now, but because the world is the way it is, it's not been able to happen. And yeah, I mean, even if I don't do another interview, I will go and meet Smartbluecat, even if it, and share a beer and have a chat. But so yeah, I haven't actually asked him if he'll do another interview, but I have asked him if I can meet him again and go and have a few beers, and he's quite willing to do that. He's a long way to go, and I've in the past I've driven up there, and for ease, I think it would actually be cheaper and more convenient to take a plane next time, and yeah, I'd like to do that, and I'd like to do another interview. I'm beginning to wonder if version 3 will be already out by the time I get to interview him again, and in that case, my questions may be very different to what they are at the moment. But yeah, there's going to be another interview with Smartbluecat. I'm sure. I hope. Fingers crossed. I was wondering which Daedric quest you enjoy the most. That's a really easy one to answer. It's the Night to Remember. And so that's the one where you have a drinking contest with Sam Guavine, and he turns out to be not exactly what he appears. But Inigo, again, with that, I wasn't really fussed before I got Inigo, but with Inigo, that quest is absolutely hilarious. I have made a video of it. I will post a link to it at the end of this video. Yeah, I love that quest. It's really, really funny. So that's how you got into gaming. What made you decide to start making videos, and why you chose the characters you did, and all about meeting Inigo and how your relationship developed with him. Why did I start making videos? There's a very good Facebook group that's dedicated to Inigo, which is called Friends of Inigo, and if you can answer 3 simple questions about Inigo, you are welcomed into that group. You need to have him and be playing with him, and you need to be able to answer the questions about him. And yeah, that's a really nice group. Now, I've been in part of that group for a good couple of years now. Before I was posting videos, and people would would record little video on the Xbox. You can, if you think that something was kind of good and you want to save it, you can get it to record up to the previous 5 minutes. And I would do that. I would save things to watch later, or something would happen and I would want to show my wife. And so I had a collection of videos, and people within the Facebook group, Friends of Inigo, they would post screenshots that showed the dialogue that Inigo had said. And to me, they were lacking. I mean, they're interesting to see, and I love to see them, and that's one of the reasons I go to that Facebook group every day, to see if there's something about Inigo that I haven't discovered yet. And I find quite a lot in there. And so yeah, I thought it would be nice to post a video of him actually saying the line rather than just reading it. And so that's what I did. I had a collection of videos that someone would post a dialogue, and I would post a video underneath it with him actually saying it. And I still do that. If there's things coming up, I don't post, only if I've got a short video about it, I'll do that. Yeah, so that's why I started making videos, and it came as from that group. I can't actually remember now, but it was people within that group that was encouraged me to put them on YouTube, and so I did, and here we are. Choosing the characters I do, I tend to choose a Colin Burton character because I can relate to it, and I've never used Khajiit, Argonian, orcs, elves, because I didn't relate to it. It's one of the reasons I didn't use Inigo for so long, because he was a blue Khajiit. I don't relate to Khajiit, so I accept them in game because they're there. But for my character, he had to be a human. And yeah, I like to play the character as I would. It kind of, I don't know if that makes sense, if I'm making any sense whatsoever. But yeah, so I chose characters that I can relate to. With Inigo, I've chosen different characters to behave in different ways. So as well as the Colin Burton character, not this series but the first Colin Burton series, he was a good guy. He never stole anything. He didn't join. He went against the Dark Brotherhood, took the Dark Brotherhood down. Didn't join the Thieves Guild. Was a goody two shoes basically. Much as I try to live my own life. So as far as possible within the game, that character was basically me with muscles. And I started playing with the wizard and also the orc to behave differently with Inigo, and it didn't work because I could never remember what I'd done with each character. So that's why those other series, why the wizard character and the orc character were quite short-lived, because going backwards and forwards to each one, and there was no kind of continuity. Often I could only make one video a week or maybe two, and it would be a few weeks before I got back to the other character, and I can't remember where we are and what we're doing and what we've said. So I decided to shelve them. Again, way in the future, when I've completed this character with everything, then yeah, I might start another character and do shorter series, because I really want to have this character have done everything with Inigo when we get into version 3. I don't know if I've got time, but we're going to try. And currently, because there are times, because we're in lockdown or the COVID situation, my wife is working from home quite a lot, which prevents me making videos in much I like, because I have to set the room up with the green screen and the lighting, and there's my computer has to go on an ironing board here. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, so there's a lot of messing about, rearranging furniture to actually make a video. So, and I can't do that while she's here, unfortunately. So I was not playing Skyrim as much. In fact, since I started uploading YouTube videos, I play a lot less Skyrim than I ever have, because because it takes a while to prepare to make a video, and so sometimes I just want to play. So I have actually made another character which I'm playing with at the moment, and coincidentally I wanted an evil, nasty character, and one thing that I'm doing, I've walked out of Inigo's cell without giving him anything. I haven't picked up anything. I'm basically thinking how my brother used to play the game. My late brother just died recently, and I would have to tell him, why hasn't Inigo got Mr. Dragonfly? What? In Inigo's cell, there's a dragonfly. Pick it up and give it to Inigo. Oh, didn't know. And the books in it, I've just left them and walked out to kind of try and find what kind of experience my brother would have when he played with zero empathy, like he had for Inigo. I'm kind of already fed up with it because I like to be nice to Inigo. It's really difficult to be nasty to Inigo, but I was saying, coincidentally, I called that character Scorm, and if you remember in Fable, you had the good deity which was called Avo, and the evil deity which was called Scorm. And if you worshipped at the temple of Scorm, then you had to sacrifice. You make human sacrifices to get in his good books and get his benefits. So I was looking for a name for an evil character, and I called him Scorm. And then, a short while after that, I found out that they're making a new Fable. So perhaps I influenced it. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So last question, and that's I know you're good friends with Smartbluecat. I hope so. I try to be his friend. I like to think that we're friends. Don't see him anywhere near enough, and I try to give it. I actually try to give him as much space as I can. I don't email him very often, send messages. I know he's busy. I'd like to talk to you. Like, if you're watching, if you get to watch this, Gary, then know that I'm not as communicative with you as I would like to be, but I know that you're busy, and I like to give you space to do what you have to do. Do you have any exclusive information on Inigo version 3? It's been about 2.5 years since the last update. My last interview with him was 1 year ago, and anybody that has anything to do with Inigo, if you play with Inigo, and if you've got any interest in version 3, you should be aware that Inigo has got his own website. All the latest information is posted there, and if you visit there, you'll see lots of information about Inigo version 3. friendsofinigo.com for latest anything about Inigo. And also, do I have any exclusive information on Inigo version 3? Yeah. Will I tell you? No. I've been lucky enough to have been given a small glimpse of Inigo version 3. And if you imagine if Inigo version 3 is a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, I've been shown half a dozen pieces. I know some characters, I know a bit of the plot line. I know a few characters that you're going to meet. I know about some areas, I know about houses and buildings. Am I going to tell you? No. Is it going to be good? Yeah. Thank you for watching. I've waffled quite long enough. Editing this is going to take ages, and anyway, I'll see you on the next adventure with Inigo, which is going to happen very, very soon. Take care. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.